Hi everybody, this is foXnoMad, and today I want to help you travel smarter by taking a look at a highly anticipated backpack and answering a big question that a lot of you seem to be having about it online. Now I'm talking about the Peter McKinnon Camera Pack 35-liter backpack, which was announced on Kickstarter a couple of months ago, and it just got released a few weeks ago, and now it's being debuted out to the public, and the first people are getting their hands on this backpack. Now I don't have this backpack on hands yet for a full review, so this isn't a full review. But I noticed that when I was going through the comments on this backpack on Peter McKinnon's video about the bag, demonstrating the bag, one of the main comments that kept coming up was, how is anybody going to afford this backpack? Is this backpack worth it? Why is it so overpriced? So I decided to take a look at whether or not this Peter McKinnon Camera Pack 35-liter backpack is worth the price. Now, for those of you who don't know, Peter McKinnon is a vlogger and a photographer. He's got a very large following online. And he decided to partner up with Nomadic to design a backpack that he wanted to see. For those of you who travel a lot with a lot of gear like I do, you know that finding the perfect bag is basically impossible. There are always compromises you have to make with any backpack. So Peter McKinnon decided to team up with Nomadic to make the backpack that he wanted. And when all was said and done, this backpack was announced and all of its accessories were announced, and the bag came in at the price of $399. It also has a bunch of different accessories, and with all of those accessories added up, if you get it in a bundle, it's $599. And depending on how you feel about backpacks and gear and your budget, that might seem like a huge amount of money for you, or might not seem so expensive for you. But I wanted to answer the question whether or not that price is worth this backpack and backpacks in general. And it really comes down to three things. And the first one is the material, second one is the design, and the third one is the features of the backpack. So first of all, when it comes to the material, your backpack is the piece of gear that's going to take the most beating of any gear that you use, and it's going to protect all of your other gear. So when you pay a lot of money for any piece of gear, you're either trying to get performance out of it, but with travel gear like a backpack, you want durability. So that can make the price of $399 not seem so expensive if you're going to use this backpack for 10 years. I've definitely used backpacks for 10 years. The first bag that I used before I was even traveling, and I took it traveling, I used that bag for about 10 years, and that bag was like $150 at the time. So it was able to expand that cost out over a decade, and it didn't end up being so expensive in the end when you divide it up by all of those years. So if you're a very frequent traveler or you travel with a lot of equipment that's expensive, you look at your backpack as an investment. You want to protect all the stuff that you have, and you know that that price is going to hopefully leave you with a backpack that's going to last a very long time. Now, there isn't a lot of information on the Nomadic website as far as the materials that are used specifically to make the McKinnon Camera Pack, but they do mention on their website that the new version of most of their bags is scratch resistant. They use a tarpaulin material, making it water resistant and durable, and the new version is built with a tougher carbonite coated 6PM tarpaulin. This keeps your bag looking sleek and polished longer. They also mentioned that they use YKK zippers, which are pretty much the standard for heavy-duty zippers on any backpack. So I would like to see more information about what this bag is made of, but it seems like it's going to be something on par with the strength that you can get from nylon. I don't think it's as strong as ballistic nylon. It seems like they went for water resistance here more than for just straight strength. It's not like a GoRuck. So if you look at a GoRuck backpack, those are like high thread ballistic nylon. That bag is going to probably survive a war. Those bags are going to last forever, and it's using the strongest material possible. And it is fairly water resistant, but it's heavy. The same thing with this Nomadic backpack. Seems like they went for a strong material that was lighter. It is lighter compared to that high-end ballistic nylon, and that it's water resistant, which seems to be a big feature on a lot of their bags. So if you don't know what I'm talking about at this point, it's sort of that kind of plasticky feel material that's got a sound when you scratch on it, but it's very thick and strong, and it's very resistant to tears and abrasion. So it's pretty good. But there are some drawbacks to this material, which sort of bleeds into the design, and that's the weight of this backpack. So this backpack is designed to be an all-in-one backpack. Peter McKinnon talks about it on his video. He wanted a bag where you could carry gear. You could actually carry a couple of items of clothes so that you would actually have a bag you could use for one bag travel. If you travel with a lot of camera equipment, laptop, and a whole bunch of different gear, you know that a lot of times that your carry-on is just full with electronics, and you need to check in a bag for all your other stuff, for your clothes and things like that. But if you're taking like a weekend trip, you want something that can kind of do both. And that was the goal with this backpack. So it's got this main compartment for all of your electronics. And then it's got this front compartment here where you can put in like a couple of clothes, a couple of shirts, maybe a sweatshirt and things like that. And it is expandable from 35 liters to 42 liters. If you look at the raw dimensions of this bag, it is close in size to the Air Travel Pack 2. But liters aren't really a good indicator as far as how big a bag actually is in terms of capacity. And as far as the raw dimensions go, those are measured in a whole bunch of different ways. So you can have two bags that are, let's say, 22 inches tall, but those bags might have very different capacities depending on the way they're designed on the inside. I suspect, based on the weight of this bag, which is 5.75 pounds, which is on the very heavy side for a carry-on backpack, I would suspect that this bag is on the larger size as far as bags go. And so that's something to keep in mind when you're talking about the design. I have, when I travel with the GoRuck, if you want to check out my GoRuck review, I'll link that up there. But I did notice that when I was at the airport, when my GoRuck was full of gear, a lot of times I was being asked to weigh my carry-on at airport check-in, and the bag always came in overweight, and I'd have to argue and sort of, I don't want to check in the bag with all my electronics. And besides all the batteries inside, you're not supposed to check those anyway. And they did eventually let me take my bags on a flight. But those extra 5-6 pounds of a backpack are going to add up. They're going to cut in to the bag limit weight that you have already when you're checking in on an airline. If you travel domestically very frequently or budget airlines, that's going to be something to consider. So I do think that this bag is likely going to be on the larger size as far as bags go. Peter McKinnon himself is also on the taller side. So when you see these pictures of him wearing the bag, you want to keep in mind that he's over 6 foot tall. So these bags are going to look a little bit smaller on him than they might look on you or I, depending on your height and depending on your build and depending on how much gear you're going to pack this bag full of. But the bag does have a lot of features which look very enticing to the eye. It's got side access, if you're one of those people that like side access to your bag. It's got this one main large compartment which more bags that are designed for one bag carry need to have. It's got a lot of little pockets and stuff where you can fit in a whole bunch of different lenses and accessories and small items like batteries. And this bag also comes with a lot of different accessories as well, which are designed to fit in those various pockets. Now, a lot of the comments online about this bag talked about those accessories, and when you add up all of those accessories, the cost is almost the price of the bag itself. So I wanted to take a look at those accessories a little bit and give you some of my thoughts on those. So if you look at these accessories, you've got the McKinnon Cube 21 liter pack, which is $124. That is the piece of gear that out of all of these things, which I'm going to mention, I found the most interesting. So it's designed as a cube. You can use this with any backpack that you have as long as it's got enough space for it. It's not too large, so here are the specs here. So this cube is basically designed for things like your drone, like large lenses, like the sort of the larger things that you might travel with that don't really have a pocket and that you don't really want to use dividers for. This cube is designed for that. And one of the really great things about this cube is that it expands out into a 21 liter day pack. So not only is it a cube that has a lot of large space for things like a drone and like that huge lens that you bring that you never use with you, it also converts into a day pack, which is super useful because if you travel with one of these large one carry bag, whatever they're called, if you travel with one of these large backpacks like the 35 liter, like a GoRuck, like an Air, like one of those bags that I carry, you know that when you're out and about and you're shooting, you know that you want a smaller day pack. You're gonna have to just bring a day pack with you and either check that in your checked luggage or smash that into the bag that you have. You need a day pack for when you're just going out and you just want one lens, camera, and that's it. You don't wanna carry all of your gear. You don't want this massive bag, which is gonna be cumbersome, and so on. So this McKinnon Cube 21 liter bag looks like a really good option for that. And I would suggest that if you're not really looking at the McKinnon Camera Pack 35 liter, then that might be a good option for you. Just something to know about, especially if you've been looking for some way to better organize the stuff that you have, depending on whatever kind of backpack you're already using. And now that I've said that, before I get into these other accessories, I will say that if you are looking at this backpack and you're still thinking, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna order this backpack and test it out and see how it works, I would suggest that you get the bag first, and then you start looking at whether or not you need those accessories. Obviously, there are some discounts of getting it all together, and Nomadic does have a pretty liberal return policy of 30 days. If you don't like the stuff, you can just send it back to them as long as it's in pretty good condition. But I would suggest, and this is true not only of this bag, but basically of all bag accessories in my experience, I would get the bag first, pack it out with all your stuff, and then see where you might need an accessory like one of these packing cubes or one of these different types of filter pockets, stuff like that. So you might want to take a look at that first. So you want to pack it out and then see the kind of accessories that you might need, and then order those one at a time and see how they fill your particular needs. Because no camera backpack, no accessory is built for everybody. That's impossible. So you're gonna get a lot of accessories and go, oh man, this looks so great in this video, and then I packed everything in and it just didn't work out like I wanted, and then I had to send it back. So it's better to go through that process slowly, and it's gonna be less expensive that way as well, especially if you get things one at a time. There's the accessory case, which is $50, which has a couple of different pockets on the interior. And for accessories, generally you can almost find a cheaper alternative somewhere online, and accessories don't need to be quite as durable as the actual backpack, since these accessories are just really protecting your items when they're in their bag, and they're really for organizational purposes. So I don't know if you would want to spend that much on an accessory case. Again, it depends on your particular needs. I'm not trying to bash this particular case. I haven't gotten hands-on on it, but it's just something to note. If you want the premium accessory case, there you have it. That's going to be one of those. But if you're looking for a less expensive alternative, you can probably find it and get the same benefits, which all leads to the question I asked in the beginning, and you're probably still asking, is this bag worth the money? So I would say this. First, it depends on your budget. If this is way over your budget, you can get a lot of less expensive bags, even in the $200 range, which are going to be fantastic bags. I've reviewed a whole bunch of those. I will link to some of those here and down in the description if you want to see bags which are in this price range and a little bit lower. If you want to check out those bags, you're going to get excellent quality, a lot of features. You're going to get a great backpack for a lot less than this backpack. You're also paying for the Peter McKinnon name and the small little design choices that are made on it. So he's got a signature on there, and obviously having his name on there is going to make the bag more expensive. And it's more than just a backpack. It's more than the materials, the design, and the features. There's also the brand name that goes on there as well. So that adds a little bit to the price of the bag. And it's worth mentioning again that Nomadic has a really liberal return policy of 30 days, so you can get this bag or the bag and the bundle, order all the accessories in the backpack, and then see if they fit your particular needs, see if you like the way it's designed, how it feels on your back, which is very important. Get hands-on the bag, and as long as you return it back to Nomadic within 30 days in good condition, they're going to give you your money back minus the shipping, which is a pretty good deal. And like I mentioned in the beginning, it's important to remember that a backpack is an investment, and it's probably the most important travel gear that you're going to carry. It carries all of your expensive things. You probably travel with equipment that's a lot more expensive than $399, so you want to make sure that gear is protected when it's in transit, and travel is really, really hard on electronics. It's really hard on camera gear. So you want a bag that's going to last for a very long time, and you want to look at it as an investment, as a sort of a insurance policy for all of your stuff. And you also want a bag that's not only going to last for a long time, but that's not going to be a pain in the butt to use for your particular needs. If every time you go into the bag, it drives you crazy because there's a divider in your way, or there's a zipper gets stuck, that's going to drive you mad, and it's going to make you want to change that bag later on. And you don't want to buy multiple bags all the time. So whereas if you get a little more pricey bag, but it lasts you 10 years, then you're really not paying that much overall. I'm looking forward to getting the McKinnon camera pack for a hands-on for a full review. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. But this is just sort of my thoughts on the price and a response to a lot of the comments that you see under those videos. Hey, this bag is so expensive, it's a money grab, or who would pay this much for a bag, and so on. This is really the best answer that I can give you from my point as someone who travels with a lot of gear and travels very frequently. Thanks very much for watching this video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button down below. I'll have new videos for you every week, and I will see you in the next video. And truck, do 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 truck, do 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 truck, do 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 truck, Do 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 do. Mana mana. Do do do. Mana mana. Ma no no. Okay.